Hello, guys. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Welcome to another edition of Football Exponential Show. Today I'll be your host, and my colleague Frank is on the call with us today. Frank, want to say hi to our viewers?
Hi guys, hi Kingsley, how are we doing? Hi, and hello to our listeners. Welcome again to another episode of the show.
All right, fantastic. We're doing good. There's some hot topics today that I love everybody to, feel free to hit the comment section. Let us know what you think about it. Some of them may be controversial, some a little more practical, and a few very easy to understand. But yeah, we're going to be doing something a little exciting, something I don't think we've done in the show before. We'll be going on a quick stop around the continent, the European continent, and discuss some of the intriguing highlight moments of the weekend and
Okay.
we're gonna get it rolling ASAP. So Frank, let's start with you. What was your highlights for the weekend?
So it was a very uh, I won't say it wasn't an exciting football weekend this past week. It was very low key. Not a lot of activities happening. A lot of people, I know a lot of us tuned into the Aston Villa Manchester United game, hoping for that to be Ten Hag's final game for Manchester United, but it seemed a bit. It didn't really live up to the expectation of the that we had as people tuned into hate watch United.
Mm.
But after that game, I tuned into Eintracht Frankfurt versus Bayern Munich, the German Bundesliga, and it was quite an interesting game with a lot of goals. It ended up being we finished in a draw 3-3 to both teams, and it was quite an interesting game because Bayern controlled, dominated the game. They created a lot of chances. I think that XG was almost double Frankfurt's XG, and shots on target, total shots is almost triple what Frankfurt had. But Frankfurt found a way to get Bayern Munich on the counter, where with this new style of play they're playing under Vincent Company, where they're very high press. They commit a lot of bodies forward, and they leave the two centre backs a bit vulnerable at the back. And we saw that in midweek with the goal against Aston Villa, where Duran comes off the bench and just gets a quick snapshot from not really a counter ball, a quick snapshot. You catch a man off his line and you get a fantastic goal. But on this day, the one standout for me, or a few players that stood out for me was Olise, who's continued a fantastic start to Dominic career, where he's scoring goals and he's assisting, and he looks part of the furniture there in Bavaria, and he's improving the team. But another player that stood out again for the wrong reasons is Harry Kane again, where he looked like he had a fantastic assist for Bayern's third goal, Lisen's goal. But I just feel
Mhm.
his overall mobility, movement, and energy he brings has been lacking in the last few months, where it doesn't look. I don't say the sharpest, but it just looks a bit off the pace. But as we all know, with Kane, he needs just half a chance to bury it to get a chance. But I feel he's not quite at his best yet. But having said that, he still managed to score a lot of goals so far this season. But for me, the standout player or players of this game was Frankfurt's front two, Hugo Ekitike and Omar Mamouche.
Yep.
These are two strikers that they've in recent years Frankfurt have been a striker factory in terms of how they found some low cost strikers from European football, brought them in, developed them, then ultimately sold them for huge sums, like the likes of Randall Kolo Muani, Luka Jovic, Sebastian Heller, Andre Silva, the list goes on. But with these two strikers they have now, Omar Mamouche and Ekitike, that attacking since they found that attacking threats that they've missed so much, and especially Ugo Ekitike, who's a player that moved to Paris Saint-Germain at a young age when they still had Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar, that whole cabal of world class players that basically didn't work out for them and they have a positive reaction in the dressing room on and off the pitch. He seemed to get lost in that situation, but he's moved over to Frankfurt, and he's so far this season, like he's been one of the standard players in European football in terms of his consistency with goals, not just scoring goals, but creating goals as well, linking up play, being the target man in the box, a deep line forward, dropping into attacking positions and creating for his teammates. And his finishing is he's a very smooth operator in terms of his finishing. And Omar Mamouche, another player where they combine perfectly. They play to each other's strengths. Sorry, they play to each other's strengths where one goes the whole classic big four, small four, where one goes long, one comes short. So I like that. I've liked that dynamic so far this season, but so far that's for me from this weekend. That was my standout moment for this week, and I'll pass it on to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, it did seem like a lot of
Mm.
excitement when you look at the feature list prior to the kickoff. But when the game kicked off this weekend for a lot of teams, it was not the usual 3 points collectors for a lot of people. There were quite some surprises, which I like to see in football, especially when there are multi-horse race, going on right now. So you think about it from the EPL point of view, it was not business as usual for Chelsea. It wasn't business as usual maybe United these days, this is business as usual for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Man.
So
Well, no, no,
yeah,
nothing against United fans, but we keep it 100 here. We keep it honest and transparent. Even Man City was a struggle this weekend, if we're being quite
yeah.
factual with Fulham.
Arsenal,
And
Arsenal as well.
Arsenal
So
labored through for their victory as
yeah,
well. So
Arsenal.
this
Yeah,
this it was not here you go, the track is set, run your race for a lot of the big teams. But then again, it was not just the pack of surprises in England. If you move on to the Spanish side of the continent as well, it was maybe again business as usual for Atletico Madrid. I stand to be corrected because again it's another draw.
yeah.
You can argue that the Anueta is always going to be a difficult place to go and get a victory. But these days with Atletico Madrid, I think it's 50-50 with the draws to victory ratio for Atletico. Maybe they've drawn 4 games in the league or something like that.
Yeah,
So
but
uh,
they're still unbeaten in the league this
absolutely,
year. So
they're unbeaten in the league. But if you do it mathematically, right, you rather lose one game
yeah,
than draw
exactly. Now
four, right?
multiple draws. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. And it's very difficult to criticize that team, just the same way it's very difficult to praise them.
Atletico
Julian
Madrid.
Alvarez, yeah, it's
I
difficult
I
because
I can because I have the statistics here. So Atletico Madrid played out a 1-1 draw with Real Sociedad, which,
Mhm.
like you said, is a top place to go. But over the course of 90 minutes, Atletico Madrid registered only 4 shots, including the early goal from Julian Alvarez, 4 shots.
Yeah,
Compare that to Real Sociedad, who had 16 shots on the day.
yeah.
So,
But
so
but if
you
you
see,
but if
so
you
you
look at it,
see,
the same Real Sociedad hit the goalpost 3 times against Real Madrid. You know,
yeah,
so like when I say it's difficult to criticize them as much as it's difficult to applaud them, is that this season, I would say of the top 3 Spanish teams, right, they've had to face the most difficult or tricky features so far, right? But that does not excuse that. That does not excuse the fact that there are certain games that they should be looking to come out with all 3 points. But games like Villarreal, Real Sociedad, Real Madrid, these are the games where they drop points, right? So
yeah.
they're not Atletico Bilbao. Those are not walk in the park kind
To be
of games.
fair, because I think to be fair to them, they've gone to some tough places and gotten the win. Like you're going away to Atletico. Sorry, going away to Atletico Bilbao, where you get a late winner from Angel Correa and getting the
Hmm.
late points against Real Madrid. And they also had another late winner recently. I can't remember.
I think they had the late one against, I believe, it's Valladolid. Or
Yeah, one of those. So it's
yeah,
so they. But I just feel like my overall issue with Atletico and with Simeone in the last few years has just been, I just feel for a team that has been assembled at great price, at great cost in terms of player transfers, that's spending in recent windows in transfer market, the quality of attacking players having that team, some good midfield players, Rodrigo De Paul, Barrios, Gallagher, one of them, Koke, and some good wing backs as well. I just feel they don't play enough football to win games. And on this day, I just feel it's one of those moments where you go away from home, you keep it tight, you barely create anything, but you nick it at the end, 1-0. Oblak, Oblak was fantastic yesterday. Like
Oh, that's
he's
so
looking,
absolutely.
he's looking back to his old self where he's coming up clutch with big saves for Atletico Madrid. But I just feel for them, it looks like it's like it's a little. I'm just a bit worried in terms of the overall ambition in terms of winning and going about winning and the overall identity they have in that club right now, where they're still playing as underdogs in
Yeah,
games, and I feel that style of play is only that style of play will catch up with you at some point in a long season. So, because we saw in Champions League this weekend, past week, they had a terrible
come
result
here
away.
flashing against Benfica. Again, Benfica going to Benfica is another very difficult stadium.
It's
Again,
tough, but even that game, they barely had any shot on target in that game. I think they
exactly.
had zero. So it's that trend where I know it's going away to Benfica, but also this is not a prime Benfica that's at their best. A Benfica that's coming off that started the season quite poorly. That had to get a new coach in, Bruno Lage that took over from Roger Schmidt. So it's still a Benfica team that's finding their way again after multiple big exits in the transfer window. So it's still I don't expect Atletico Madrid to go there and lose 4-0, especially in the
Yeah,
manner in which they lost that game. So that's quite worrisome for me. But so far, they're still unbeaten. They're still in amongst it. But I just worry about how far they want to push themselves. Are they comfortable finishing below the elites? Barcelona, well, Atletico Madrid right now are part of the elites in
yeah.
Spanish football now. So are they content finishing behind Barca and Real Madrid in that third or fourth position? You cash your Champions League money and you just keep it rolling. But I feel with the talents, their playing style should show more ambition and more courage. That's just how I feel.
No, I agree, and in addition to that as well, I feel like the media has not been particularly kind to them as well. Because if you look at it, I think it's just what 2, 3 points difference between them and Real Madrid,
Let me say,
which if you check in the context of the league, it can be a lot. But if you think about it, the kind of bashing that they've received,
yeah. So
uh,
that 3 points behind 3 points behind Madrid.
yeah. So
In
if you
fact,
think about,
so 6 points. That's 6 points off the top.
yeah.
So
So so
it's
if you look at it, 6 points in the game in 9 game period is a lot of points to to drop. Of which if it were a perfect 9 out of 9, then there would have been 9 points adrift. If you think
yeah.
about it, so it's of course disturbing, but I don't feel like the same level of criticism is on the other side of Madrid. People tend to say, oh, you know what, give Real Madrid time to gel, give Real Madrid time to gel for the big players to come alive, give Real Madrid some of their injury prayers, whatever the case might be. We've heard a lot of different things, which may or may not be true. But when it comes to Atletico Madrid, it's just the same one-way traffic. They're not good enough. They're not attacking. They're not ambitious. The coach is the problem. The players are top quality, but they're under delivering. But I feel like it's 3 points apart, but it's one thing that happened. Again, as a Barca fan, I love the result. The more gaps, the more deadlines we can put there, the better for us. But that was one interesting thing that happened in La Liga. On the other side as well, Real Madrid kept it sweet and tidy. Vinicius' goal
Oh,
was amazing. There was I think one of the first
sorry,
of this kind of
sorry,
goals.
sorry. I didn't quite get you. Can you say again, Vinicius what? Vinicius what?
Vinicius' goal was amazing.
It was
It was
okay.
very,
Yeah.
yeah, very reminiscent of Yamin Lamal's goal during the Osasuna game. It's good to see players look at the top corner and smash the shot rather than waiting
No,
to
he
be
had,
tapped at their
he had,
back.
I think that was vintage Vinicius on Saturday. He looked in
Yeah,
control. He looked in control of the team. He was controlling the game, getting chances, getting his dribbles off. He looked like he was having fun again. Like he was controlling the crowd, controlling the crowd. He had his the position fullback, Kiko Femina, on
yeah.
the ropes for majority of the game. He looked like he was enjoying his football again, and it was it's refreshing to see because it's been quite I won't say tough, but it's been quite. stop start so far this season with Madrid in terms of the overall performances and trying to get that axis of Rodrigo, Jude, Mbappe, that get that chemistry going because it doesn't quite look as free flowing as you'd expect it to look with the quality of players at their disposal. But it was good
The,
to
the,
see. It was good to see. Yeah,
yeah, no, the reality is this, right? In my opinion,
yeah. Here,
in my
here comes some
opinion,
hate. Some
yeah,
hate.
no, it's true. In my opinion, last season, Real Madrid got the results, but they didn't play fantastic. If we want to look at things retrospectively, they got the result. They didn't play that fantastic. If you go on and check at this time last season, you see a lot of 90 minutes winners, 90 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
Jude Bellingham coming top, and I said the same thing about Leverkusen when I was reviewing Xabi Alonso, one of those episodes we had prior to the start of the season. I understand it when you build your team around resilience, when you build your team around never giving up, but I'd rather have you put daylight between yourself and your opponents. Be consistent with it, right? Leverkusen went unbeaten, you know, by a lot of heart rates. You know what I mean? Like 9 minute extra
yeah.
time,
There
late
was a lot of.
goal.
It was
Yeah, it was
very very emotional and very chaotic.
ways to
It's
win games.
but
Yeah,
yeah, but if like if people pay that quite enough attention, it was quite clear that way of winning games is not sustainable.
I,
Where in the league, in the cups, in Europe, where you're getting buzzer beater winners consistently, and but also it's credit to them as well for like digging in, sticking to their principles, sticking to their football methodology, and trusting the talent to get the result. But so far this season, like Bayer Leverkusen, they've not. I feel if anything, their biggest problem this season has been they concede a lot of goals. Defensively, they've been one of the poorest teams in the Bundesliga this season. They just
yeah.
can't keep clean sheets anymore, and it gets to a point where, especially at home, where you concede just about every other game, you're conceding 2 goals per game in the league, regardless of oppositions. And like, of course, they drew 1-1 with Bayern Munich last week, but
Mm-hmm,
this weekend they are drawing at home 2-2 with a newly promoted team to the Bundesliga, after having been up 2 goals ahead. They come back,
mm-hmm.
they equalize 2-2, and had a few other chances to win the game 3 or 4-2. So it's tough. I understand what you're saying. Like it's not just, it's not perfect to watch with Real Madrid overall last season, but I felt with them they had this inevitability about them of getting the result. If be it Jude coming clutch with a goal, Carvajal coming up, they had different players chipping in with
Vargas, all those things. Yeah,
exactly.
but
So
but exactly, you get my point. So and right now we are at the stage where you know, I'm looking at it, I'm like, you had a broken bone, but you decided to use some plaster to gloss over your injury. I feel like the problem that Real Madrid has needs to be addressed. They need to have a consistent play for which to play. They need to have that chemistry going on. You have to, be able to win games comfortably. You need to be able to do like what you did with Villarreal. You need to be able to do that a little more consistently. It's not always going to be a 4-0, 3-0, 5-2 kind of victory,
yeah,
but also you don't want to be over reliant and see yourself needing a 90 minutes, 85 minutes goal to get going. And that is the
yeah,
danger. That is the danger when you have a successful, in terms of trophy, a successful season playing football like that. You probably might almost lose sight of the things that you should be improving on. And I think this season is going to be an eye opener for them. And 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 the funny thing, when I saw the formation and I saw the lineup for that game on Saturday, I almost buzzed you to say, remember when we had a conversation around reshaping Real Madrid and what we think would be the ideal formation for them to actually maximize their potential? Go back and look at your sketch. Exactly the formation that I proposed was exactly what Ancelotti decided to try against Villarreal.
the diamond formation.
Yeah, it
The
wasn't particularly a diamond.
It's
It was like
not
a
part,
flat three.
not
Yeah, flat three in
yeah,
the middle, and then there was
flat three,
Jude
then one.
Bellingham. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then two on top, exactly.
Well,
And then you see Vinicius and Mbappe taking that position up top. Jude Bellingham sitting right there in a mini false nine slash advanced 10 position or eight. Popping into the box late time, connecting. Because I feel like if there's anything going on good with Real Madrid these days, is that there's a potential chemistry brewing between Jude and Kylian, and when that
Yeah.
chemistry materializes, it's going to be absolutely devastating for oppositions. And
Yeah.
then Vinicius, having I think Vinicius needs a little bit of that flexibility. I understand he's great coming in from the left wing side and doing all of that magic, but get him a little bit, central where he can be more impactful to shoot. His shooting has
Yeah.
improved a lot, and is one of the most decisive or clinical football strikers right now in terms of when he's shooting with a purpose, right? As compared to a couple of others that might shoot right here and there. So to see that happen against Villarreal, despite wanting a different outcome in the game, is like, okay, if Real Madrid can consistently play this way, then they'll put Barca on their toes. But moving on from that, um,
Uh,
to
but before we move on from Real Madrid, you should also add Real Madrid's is it a captain, Carvajal? Is it a captain or
yeah, yeah, is
is
there
it
yes.
one of the captains? One of the captains.
No, I actually
Danny,
think I think he's actually their captain for the
yeah.
season.
So one of the captains, Danny Carvajal, has
Yeah, that
he
was nasty.
ended the game with a nasty injury, which has been confirmed as ACL tear and something else that's going to keep him out for a long time. And this is one player that has always been. I feel this is Mr. Right. I feel this is Mr. Remari, the player that's in the last six Champions League wins or six Champions League finals. He's
Hmm.
the only player that's played in all those finals, and he's seen them win all the stuff, and the experience he brings to because from the tactical perspective, what they did on Saturday was they basically had the left wing was free. There was nobody on the right wing. It was just free for Carvajal to just go up and down that on the day. But I feel that will be a big miss for Real because they're not really blessed with a lot of depth in terms of players at fullback positions, left or right back. Because David Alaba is injured, Ferland is a bit is so these days. Frank Garcia is a decent player, but I still feel it's not that. I don't feel it's of the level to play consistently. But it's going to be a big miss for them at right back. And it'll be interesting to see how Ancelotti shapes because I feel Ancelotti he's a shapeshifter in terms of how he molds his teams to come out to figure out to navigate injuries, um, tough forms, and getting the best out of his best players in a system that just works in a way. So I don't know if this could be a blessing. I won't say a blessing this guy, but is this going to be another opportunity for Carlo to find the formula to get a certain player that fills in that position or another shape or another formation where in a way you kind of get the best out of these players you have at your disposal. Is it you go to a back three where you go with with Rudiger, Militao, and Tchouameni in defense, Vasquez at left wing back, and right wing back, and Frank Garcia. Then you just go with Mbappe, Vinicius, and Jude Bellingham as free roaming forwards in attack. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how that develops. So
Yeah, no,
moving on.
it's absolutely going to be interesting.
Yeah.
To just put a few sprinkles on there. I expect Vasquez to go in there and fit in like a glove.
Yeah,
He comes
his
in, he does a good. Vasquez is a player I respect so much because he might not give you a 9 out of 10 performance at all in a season, but you're sure you're going to get over 7.5 every game. So sometimes those are the foundation you need to build on as a coach, knowing that there's somebody that will come and give you consistently good performance. It might not get you like anything excellent, but they will
yeah,
give you
bro.
consistently great performance. And again, it's also an opportunity for them to overload the left wing side and allow for Vasquez to get a little more cover there, etc. But we'll see what Ancelotti does with that. But
Yeah.
again, my heartfelt condolences to Kavaya. No, and this is not. There's nothing sarcastic about it. It's a nasty injury to think about. It was one of those that on screen you see it and you're like, oops, I hope
Yeah,
it's nothing.
it's
I hope it's nothing worse than
it
that.
was,
Yeah.
and they kept showing the replays and it
It's,
didn't look
it,
any.
there was
It
no
was
angle that could
it
demolish
looked it
the
kept getting progressively worse at every
yeah,
view.
yeah,
So
it was
all
nasty.
condolences to him and Real Madrid and how they navigate the situation. We will keep an eye on that. But just question before we go: does this because we know remember they don't really sign players in the general transfer windows. I think they've not signed a player for most in the last 6 or 5 general transfer windows. They don't get deals arranged for like the likes of Hendrick that they stay in Brazil, then they come the next year. Do you think they go and get a certain Englishman in
Trent.
Liverpool?
No, the thing is this, right? Trent,
Or,
that kind of operations hardly happen in January because of all of the
exactly.
modalities and logistics that can happen. Now, do you say they start putting the groundwork there, given the contract dispute
Yeah.
or lack of it in Liverpool right now? Yes,
Does
Florentino
it?
Perez is capable to go and
Yeah, because
start laying the foundation for that. But also, I also know they've kept their eyes on Alphonso Davies, which might not be an exact replacement in terms of left wing to right and left back to right back kind of thing. But at least if they go in there and reinforce one wing back, then you can allow some flexibility to do something with the other
yeah,
one. But the reality is this: the right back position in football right now is very lacking of top quality talent who are not injury free. Like if you
no,
think
I'll
about it,
say even fullbacks. I'll go as just to say fullbacks. Basically,
fullback,
they're
yeah,
very
exactly. There are very few
it,
of them if you're looking at very high quality fullbacks.
yeah,
I mean, nothing against like just thinking about it. Like Rich James is another right back that I really really rate, but unfortunately due to injury, we've not seen that talent come to the proper level that it should be. You think about it. Walker is, if you still think of Walker being one of the top ranked right back, then you know that there's a problem because he's on the other
because
side
he's
of
been
the age.
already.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
Trippier as well when you think about it. Like you're just thinking of right backs that can come
Yeah,
in at Real Madrid standards. They're not young right backs. They're not
yeah, exactly.
right backs that you plan your future on. So I don't see
Yeah,
them just going. I think they might, the way I look at it, they might shop around quietly in Spain if they have to.
yeah.
Just get somebody that can come in and put a decent shift, maybe a season or thereabout, and then
Just
put in
get
the
an
big
extra.
buck and then try and get
Yeah,
something. Good.
just to get an extra body, just to get an extra body to come up. Because as you know, Real Madrid are going to be playing a lot of games this season. So yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then moving on to my highlights of the week in terms of the continent. It's very exciting one again. You don't hear me speak too much about this guy because, again, a lot of people have written him off for different reasons. But this is David De Gea beyond the speak. Not David De Gea at his peak, because at his peak, he wasn't even saving penalties. He was doing every other good thing. He was a shot stopper. He was going to be there, strong fists, and all of that.
Yeah,
But he was never a penalty stopper. And then
yeah.
watch De Gea show AC Milan and decide a game of that caliber. Stopped two penalties. You can argue, however you look at it, was it great penalties? Were they bad? Was it
No,
the keeper
they
brilliant?
were
They were
fantastic subs, fantastic subs also.
exactly. So they were
That's
fantastic, fantastic stuff. And then, I don't know if this is reminding AC Milan of their level or this is telling AC Milan that you could be doing better, but De Gea at this point of his career, deciding AC Milan's future, deciding AC Milan's current state in a very important league game for them was beautiful to watch. Um, and then also to back that up with John Martin's tweet, and I was like, "You took that out of my lips, literally." He
what's
said,
it?
"Well, what I was saying." John Martin went on and said, "Oh, in Spanish, numero one, meaning like number one, and they say you're finished, right? So, but he's not finished, essentially.
Yeah,
So,
because like De Gea has been he after he left United he was out of football for
mhm,
the entirety of last season.
yeah,
I don't we saw like his weekly updates of his activities like training were quite interesting to watch. How he was keeping fit and keeping fresh. But he signs with Fiorentina and he started off as the second choice, but now he's ultimately the first choice goalkeeper. And this performance is the kind of performance that announces or reintroduces you to the football discussion as hey guys, I'm back. I'm
yeah,
David again. I'm back. I'm better. I'm saving penalties now. My kicking is better. My passing is better from the back. I'm playing as a modern day goalkeeper. All those all what was said about me or my
yeah,
lack of ability to be a
yeah,
proper goalkeeper at Manchester United. Look, I'm doing them now. I've improved, albeit at Fiorentina, but it's still nice
mhm,
to see like that. that he still kept himself in the right shape, the right frame of mind to come back and ultimately contribute fantastically yesterday because that's AC Milan's second defeat of the season,
Yeah.
and they've for
And let's
because
put things
I've
into perspective. When we say second defeat of the season, we're talking in Serie A because they already have two in the Champions League. So,
also they have four defeats this season already.
absolutely.
That's interesting to hear. That's interesting to hear. And okay, that's very interesting. But it's but like recently, we all know that they can the AC Milan fans can brag about their history and whatnot. But we all know the current landscape of European football right now, and where AC Milan find themselves. I don't need to say it, but we all know where they stand right now in European football. So,
No, there's a
but for
friendly reminder on the Champions League table. It helps. It
yeah.
helps a lot to go
So,
there.
but I just but for AC Life, I just feel it's quite and shout out Florentina for winning for getting the maximum points on this day, getting the winner with Moise Kean, who's moved around Europe for the last few years from Paris
Hmm.
Saint-Germain, Juve. Nice, he seems settled in Florentina. He had an interesting game where he himself missed a penalty for Florentina as well. There were a total of three penalties missed on the day. But
Yep.
it's a good win. But for AC Milan, I just look at AC Milan as a team that won the Italian Serie A 2 seasons ago. Was it? Yeah,
And
two
there's been,
seasons. Yeah,
yeah, 2 seasons ago, and
yeah.
after that, there was a
So
rapid decline, like
and
very rapid decline.
it's just a rapid decline of not just in terms of players we've lost, but it's just the players that have remained. The likes of Rafael Leao, Fikayo Tomori. You see even Ismail Benessere, but he's injured a lot these days.
Hmm.
But those two players, particularly Rafael Leao and Fikayo Tomori, there's always been this argument that, especially with Southgate, like why doesn't Tomori get more games for England? Why doesn't he get more games for England? But it's now the last 2 years, it feels his performances have given Southgate a bit of an explanation to show like this is why he doesn't get games for England because I trust Maguire for England. I know Maguire struggles with United, but whenever he plays for England, he performs well. And on the winning goal for Fiorentina, it was just bad defending from Tomori. And I've seen him against Liverpool, I've seen him against Bayern Leverkusen, saw him yesterday, I saw him in one of the first two games this season. It's just you expect more from a defender that showed so much promise in his earlier
Yeah.
years in Italy. But it's a bit disappointing to see. But I wish him because he's one of his Chelsea's his Cobham's one of Cobham's own. So I wish he gets back to his self where we see that confident defending on the front foot, aggressive and very and solid. But the other player, Rafael Leao, and this I'll let you talk about what's your opinion about Rafael Leao? Because I think like he's a player Barca fans have been willing the club to make an attempt to sign in recent years.
Yeah, no, for me, Rafael is just like buying a Lamborghini Urus. And what do I mean? You're paying more for an Audi, everything Audi. That's how I look at it.
No,
Um, uh, but really,
Lamborghini.
in football terms, right? No, I'm serious. He has everything.
So it's all
He has
flash,
the
all flash, no substance.
He's just all flash and overpriced. Like for me, he's a good footballer, but if you ask me, do I want him in Barcelona right now? I'm not confidently going to tell you yes. And the reason why is because if you look at his ability, he has everything, but if you look at the end product, he has nothing. He has absolutely nothing in terms of end product.
I would
Rafael
say
can beat his man. Rafael can run into space. Rafael should be able to. Leo should be able to hit a shot. Rafael should be able to finesse a ball. He should be able to get on the free kicks. He should be able to get on header. His tall. He should be able to, show strength against defenders and all of those things. But then you go and you check the numbers, and then you check the numbers against when he's needed. They're not that impressive. They're
yeah.
not that convincing. And then you think about it, he's not an absolute starter in Portugal as well. Um,
No, even but it's because like he started a few games at the Euros with Portugal, but some of his performances were a bit. You look at it and you just can't help but feel he can give more. Like this is a player not giving 100. Like there's some players where you see them play, like
there,
you see
there's some, there's,
like you see one of the sorry to cut you short, one of the informed players in European football right now, not just in Spain. Barca's captain, Rafinha, where you see him, it's not just the talent, it's not just the creativity, the pace, the finishing, the dribbling, but it's also the backside where he works hard for the team. The pressing, the amount of ground he covers, the way I feel right now Rafinha is in a way the glue that's putting Barca's attack together because he does a lot off the ball, a lot of running, a lot of selfless actions for the team. But on the other side, with Leah, I think he doesn't do enough of that. Where he doesn't seem like I don't think he's a player that plays at maximum most of this. And is a tag I also put at another player in Manchester United as well, Rashford, where you see them where and you ask, this player really giving everything for this game? Is he really locked in for this team right now? And it's always uh, more times than not, is the answer is always he's not really giving more. He's not really giving all he can because
Yeah,
the talent is there, no doubt. The talent is definitely there.
yeah. Just like there are a few players I'll call to just voice my conversation. For example, Thuram in Inter Milan, right? You give me that guy for free, I'm not gonna take him. Now,
Turam,
uh, yes, I'm not gonna take him. And the reason why I wouldn't take Thuram is this.
Turam,
Yes, Thuram.
no,
So,
Turam, no, Turam,
I'll tell you why. He's a good footballer, no doubt. But the reason why I can take him on in my team is that on eyeball test, he appears uninterested. And this is what you look at in body language.
but he
Body
delivers.
language.
But
That's what I'm saying. He delivers, but
he's
if I were a coach, I wouldn't take him on my team. And the reason is this, right? As a coach, you want to be able to emphasize on your philosophy. You want to drive down your point across every member of the team. You want them to, attack as a unit, defend as a unit, be press. Like for example, sometimes I look at Lukaku when he plays, and I'm like, Lukaku is a hard
yeah.
worker. Love him or hate him, he's a hard worker. Yes, it's true, he might get in front of the chance, in the front of the goal and stop the chance. It happens, right? But you would not look at him and say, this guy did not put his best foot forward. Even when Antoine
Except
Griezmann,
except when he's playing for Chelsea.
well, that's a conversation
Except
for another time. But even
except
even
when
at
he's playing for
Chelsea,
Chelsea.
when he wasn't delivering in terms of goals, you would not
No,
question Lukaku's commitment, except
I
when he
did.
started having those riffles with the board and riffles with the
Okay.
coaching team and
Yeah.
everything, and then you know that there are external factors there. He had already started to feel like he was no longer,
Yep. Yeah.
trusted or required in the club. That's a
Yeah. Very
different
cool.
conversation, right? So now when we look at the likes of Rafael Leao and you look at the likes of Antoine Griezmann, right? Even when Antoine Griezmann has a bad game, you know this guy puts in a shift. This guy would
Yeah.
go in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
he would chase the ball end to end of the pitch. He would give the pass. You would see him, screaming at himself when he, passed the ball too soon or delayed the pass or something like
Yeah.
that. But Rafa plays like he's on a Sunday league. Oh, I didn't get this one done. Maybe another chance will come. No, this is professional football. This is not acceptable. And given the dynamics of where Barca is headed, do I want a player with that kind of charisma or that kind of personality in the dressing room? I think it's going to be very
Yeah.
counterproductive
Yeah. Exactly.
for the team. But the talent
Because
for sure is there. I'm just taking it out. The talent for sure is there. The abilities are there to see, right? If you look at the eyeball test in terms of the control and the maneuvering of the ball and
control,
the
the
impact,
dribbling, the shooting,
yes,
it's like
it's all
it's
there.
all
But it's just at the end
it's
of
all
the
the,
day, it's
but
not.
but
There's a problem if Rafael is not a serious contender for the best player in Serie A,
because
and
but
he's not
also
been there. Even in the AC Milan winning season, he wasn't there in that conversation.
no, he was. I think I believe when he won the title, he was the MVP. So yeah, but also with Leo, I
Was
just
he?
feel yeah, he was the MVP. But I just feel with Leo, is this just a case of a player staying a bit too long at a specific club and not like for example now, let's say I'm not comparing them as footballing talent. I'm just saying their journeys at the clubs they've been at. We all know where AC Milan rank in the football
Mm-hmm.
in football ranking right now. They're not sitting at the top table with the top clubs, the Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona's, Chelsea's, Man City, and whatnot.
I don't agree
I
with you
said
there.
Chelsea.
I don't agree with you.
As,
It's Chelsea. Please take them out of that table and then let's
No,
get
no, no,
serious.
no, no, yeah, no, but you can disagree with Chelsea's recent performance as well. Chelsea is the only, Chelsea is one of the clubs that won the Champions League in the last 5 years. So let's get it right. Well, no, but seriously, but this, like with Mbappe, I feel like I would say Mbappe stayed a few years longer at Paris Saint-Germain than he should have. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel that's, that's delaying the inevitable move to Real Madrid, as in a way stifled his overall, yeah, has stifled him as a football player. Where, if anything, Mbappe has regressed. He's regressing progressively from the player he was when he first burst onto the scene, the 2018 World Cup, and the years after that. And I feel the turning point for Mbappe, where I feel his decline started, was after that Champions League final where they lose against Bayern
Yeah.
Munich,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
um
Bayern.
yeah, it was against Bayern Munich, the COVID season.
Yeah. Oh, the 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel after that happens, then Messi comes into the picture, and it starts to get a bit political in Paris, where he starts to pull his weight around, threatens to leave. They persuade him to stay. Then he starts acting like he runs the place. But like he stays a bit too long there, and Real has stayed a bit. Where you say, okay, after he wins the Serie A title with AC Milan, does he go to a bigger club? I know AC Milan is a big club, but you know what I mean. He goes to
Mm-hmm.
a bigger club these days, the Man Cities, or
Yeah.
even
And more
or
ambitious. Yeah.
exactly the Bamleys, where you go there with a club with a serious football operation, with good head coaches, Carlo Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola, even those kind of coaches, Thomas Tuchel, where they push you, and they expect more from you, because these coaches are not coaches that just they don't let it slide. They are very demanding and very tough masters. So it's like with Rashford as well. I feel like one of Rashford's big problems is, for majority of his footballing career at Manchester United, he's not had an actual coach that's coached him on his flaws in his game. Because I still see Rashford making the same mistakes you expect a 17, 18-year-old that's making his way into the first team make. Where this is not Rashford is not a kid anymore. Leao is no longer a kid anymore. Mbappe as well, where that game is just, they've lost a step in that game, and it's, I don't know if they need to, like, Mbappe has obviously made the move to Real Madrid, and I feel now he's, if you have to ask him, not just for Real Madrid, even for national team as well, where he's really he's really struggled for the last, for club and country.
I said something even before the World Cup. I said, as much as I respect Mbappe as a footballer because of all the things that he has, done in the game at the time that he did them, Mbappe is a player that plays off the ability to get that early ball in, run behind, and fewer touches, hit the ball bang. That is Mbappe.
Exactly,
That
few
that
touches,
is the that's the Mbappe that we've come to
few
like.
touches, few touch maximum maximum
Effective.
impact. That's, I think
Yeah,
that's the best way to
that's
say it.
Mbappe. Exactly, that's Mbappe we've come to love. But now the Mbappe we've been seeing in recent years.
France,
I want to be a winger or an attacking midfielder. I want to be able to do
yeah,
step overs and do an inside out step.
yeah,
That is not your forte. Leave it. You understand? Leave it. And then that brings me on to the next topic that I kind of want us to talk about, right? Sometimes there's certain players, you see them, you know what they are made of. You as a coach, as a footballing fan, you also want it to be like, keep this guy to his bread and butter and let's enjoy that. Don't change what breakfast means to this guy. And the guy that I'm talking about is Lewandowski. Lewandowski of
yeah,
last season was dropping deep. He was trying to be involved in the build-up. He was laying passes. He was doing all of those things Xavi wanted him to do. But guess what? It was taking him away from the Lewandowski that football fans come to love. Leave
yeah,
Lewandowski in the 18-yard box, leave him on the box 18, let him do his thing, and let's see how well he comes up. And pretty much we saw it over the weekend, in my wrapping up
yeah.
of
The goal,
what happened in the
the first
Champions
time,
League, especially the third goal. Especially the
yeah,
third goal, the
yeah,
pass
yeah,
to from Eric Garcia to that was Lewandowski. That was Lewandowski Hansi Flick's era. That was a touch that looks like you're going off the box and then boom, you're getting the right corner into, it's unstoppable for for goalkeepers. The defenders can only ball watch. That is the Lewandowski. But if it were last season, Lewandowski would probably be in the position where Eric Garcia was laying that pass, and except there's a rebound or there's something, your chances get very limited. So to the Rafael, Mbappe, and all those conversations that we've had prior to this, sometimes players need to go to their roots, stick to their roots, and then also know when to move. I feel like Mbappe is a very lucky boy that he made that move to Real Madrid this season. If Mbappe was in Real Madrid and was in PSG this season, forget it. The Real Madrid train would go. It would go.
No,
Absolutely.
because I know, but like what I also saw, there was this. I don't know if you saw it last week before the weekend. There was this video from that got. I don't know if it got leaked, but there was this basically it was Mbappe and Luis Enrique having a discussion about his performances against
Yeah, the
Barcelona.
one about Michael Jordan and all of that.
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah,
and I feel like you said, like if you stayed at Paris, I feel if there's one person in Paris that's happy Mbappe is not there, it's Luis Enrique.
yeah.
Because I feel because you see the discussion. It wasn't an argumentative discussion. It was more a
It was an
coach.
instruction telling you
Exactly.
that I need you
No,
to do this.
I'll say education because he can see firsthand. Because let's not forget, this is Enrique. He coached one of the best attacking trio
Talent
in
under
Europe.
football, yeah.
Messi, Neymar, and Luis Suarez
Luis
as
Suarez.
for that season. He knows that what make those guys special, especially Suarez and Neymar and Messi, is not just, of course, it's the talent. The talent made them special, but they played they played like one. They played like a team. The chemistry they had there, it's I don't think we'll ever see that kind of
Mm.
chemistry with this kind of players. And they'll I can only the only I can remember it's or the only group of players that combine this one is only I can like Brazil 2000 Brazil in at the Brazil's World Cup in South
Yeah,
Korea
yeah.
where you have Ronaldo,
Ronaldo,
Ronaldinho,
Ronaldinho, I
where
think
you
there was.
see every single action is you're doing every single action is done for the
Mhm.
benefit of the next player to perform better, to execute it, pass it, shot. So I see,
Yeah.
but they all worked as one. They attacked, they defended as one. But Mbappe and what he was saying is like, oh, Luis Enrique was saying to Mbappe, oh, I heard you like Michael Jordan. But what made Michael Jordan great is not just his talent, but he defended for his team all the time. He was always there in big games because he knew if he turned up in big games with big performances and did what he had to do, not just scoring 3 pointers or making shots, but working hard on the court, you attract more players to you. You make space for your other players to do that. You drag, because you mentioned the Barca's defender Kubasi, where
Mm-hmm.
if you make your run and you drag Kubasi out, you free up space, then we can do what they're doing, and you ultimately get the ball.
At the back of the net.
Exactly, but I just feel I don't know how much of that message Mbappe has digested, and like you
It,
said, even like just like with there's this I feel the sentiment towards Mbappe from a lot of French ex-footballers right now is in a way like because they see now this is another international break. Mbappe, Mbappe is not being called up. The story is injured, but he starts for Real Madrid. Came off the bench in Champions League. He's the French captain. A lot of people don't like it, but his performances, especially after during the Euros, where Emmanuel Petit, France World Cup winning legend, says he's trying to play like Neymar. You're not Neymar. That is Mbappe. That's never been your game. What made you special for France and for Monaco and your early years in Paris was how, as you said, few touches, but you were devastating on the counter attack. You were devastating when you were played through on goal. One touch, two touch, you killed the opposition. But now, too many touches, you're trying to beat your man. It because I feel like against Villarreal he didn't really perform well. And when he gets subbed out, you can see in his face he knows like okay I don't know I don't know how if the injury affected his performance on Saturday, but you could
but
see in
this
his
has
face
been
like
happening even prior to the injury. Like,
exactly, exactly, exactly,
yeah,
exactly. So I'm trying to give you some build, but you can see like he knew like yeah, this wasn't my best outing today.
yeah, no, and then you see players being subbed off and the reaction. Take for example, Yamin Lamal, he got subbed off on Saturday, the game against Deportivo Alaves, and you saw his face on the bench, and that was an angry kid that he's not. out there trying to either improve his stats or help the team anymore in terms of your time is off on the pitch. But it's not the sadness that comes from, oh, did I underperform? Did I
Yeah,
under
it's
deliver? But
exactly
exactly. But when you
that's
see Mbappe walking off that, going to the bench
it's
against Villarreal,
almost
he wasn't looking angry
there's
and
almost
being
an
pulled off.
acceptance.
It's just
There's a
like, okay, you know what? Yeah, yeah, what?
you're in a way admitting like, okay, I've not
Okay,
really
I could have
performed
done
well.
better. I probably should
Yeah,
have done
yeah,
better.
I get that's a fantastic point. But yeah, that's Mbappe. Back to Lewandowski now, where he's started off this season with 10 goals, nine
Yeah,
starts, 10 goals so far. He's
yeah.
top goal scorer in La Liga, I believe.
Top goal scorer in La Liga, absolutely. 10 goals in 9 games. The bundle of assists to go in with that as well. There
Well,
is,
well,
yeah.
okay, well, 2 assists. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
calm down now.
for a striker. Yeah, absolutely. That's
Well, two.
yeah. So
Yeah,
and so that's 12 goals contribution alone in La Liga. You go into the Champions League, he has 2 goals there as well. Could be more if he had stayed longer at the pitch. And then also you think about it, we're already talking 12 goals involvement for Lewandowski. That is almost half the number of goals he brought to the table last season, and the season is not even half yet. So that is the rejuvenated number nine. That is the number nine Barca went out there to pay 50 million euros or thereabout for. That is the
okay.
difference maker you want from your target man. That is the guy that feels overall more confident in his game. If you just check that in comparison to last season, and now if you think about it, Lewandowski is leading the attack of the most fierce threesome or trident in attacking football right now. Between Lewandowski, Rafinha and Yamin
Hmm.
Yamal, they've got 23 goals already together this season, and we're not even midway through the season. So that is from Lewandowski
Yeah,
being, in fact,
he's getting, but also feel it's no, there's no, it's not, it coincides with the arrival of Hansi Flick, a coach that knows Lewandowski quite well, because we saw with he had one of his. I know he was always fantastic for Bayern Munich, but he had one of his better seasons, or one of his most prolific seasons with Bayern Munich with Hansi Flick as a head coach.
definitely.
So you're getting back together with a coach that knows you well. He looks. I know he's how old is he? He's
It's 36, should be, yeah, it's 36, I think. Yeah,
36.
it's
Yes,
36. I think he turned 36 in August, if my memory
yes,
serves
it's
right.
not 36. Yeah, it's not 36 August. So it's still like it's like if he still looks lean. He looks fit. He looks
Oh yeah, he looks
ready.
absolutely rejuvenated.
And it
Absolutely.
look and I also feel like he still has that because we see it with some strikers when they get a bit older. And you said it last season where he started retreating, he started spending more time outside the box than inside the box, finishing off chances. Because I'm not quite sure if that was an instruction
No,
from Javi,
it was absolutely an instruction for Gavi
but
because
but
because if you
but
look at
now,
Gavi's style of play, right, even if it wasn't Lewandowski playing, even if it was Ferran Torres playing, or whoever it was that was playing the supposed nine position for him, he wants you to interact with the midfielders a little bit and then be able to get that over the top ball and try to run in between space. Lewandowski has lost that yard of space, let's be honest, right?
but he
And
still
he
has
has
that move. That
but he
you
has the
see,
mobility. He knows where. So it's just like if you let him move early enough, he's going to be able to cover ground. But if you put in a ball behind a defender and expect Lewandowski to run in behind and get the ball before the goalkeeper gets there, he's lost that yard of space. That's the reality, right? But now there are other things that he does that supplements for that, such as being an area threat, such as um allowing the more pacey players to run ahead of him, like the Rafinha running in and getting behind the defenders, um,
yeah.
waiting for the ball to get pulled in from the flank, like Lamal giving him a couple of seaters. And let's be very honest, Lewandowski has missed some absolutely clear goal scoring chances this season. Let's not get carried away with the stats. He's missed the clear score goal scoring chances this season, but I just feel like even for this season, Lewandowski has not peaked just yet. There's still a gear or two for him to get into, and that is in itself very scary if I were to be defending against him.
Yeah, but and it's also important to also add like he's getting because for large parts of last season before the emergence of Yamin Lamar, he was the Barca attack wasn't quite fluid in terms of the creation of chances, the execution of finishes. It wasn't functioning quite well
Yeah.
because Rafinha was still finding his way as a Barcelona player. Ferran Torres quite is notoriously inconsistent. But I feel right now where you have with the likes of Pedri back fit, Dani Olmo to come back, Rafinha is looking fantastic. Like I said, he's one of the best performers in Europe. This is
Mm-hmm.
not just goals and assists, but overall package
Yeah.
as an attacking player. And also with the new wonder kid, Yamal creating chances. It looks like if like Lewandowski could hit, dare I say, 40 goals or comes this season.
I won't be surprised, but I still feel like
Then
that's
I
a
feel
reach. I feel like
that's because he
that
hasn't
be asking.
well
That be
the last
asking for too much.
but the last time he scored 40 goals was with Hansi Flick
Yeah.
at Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
So
But and that was what
it's
4 years younger. That was the 32
that
year
was
old Lewandowski.
2020 2021. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
approximately
not
4 years younger.
it's
Yeah,
it's still
40
if
goals will
Barca keep
come over.
if things go well for Barca this year with injuries and fitness, it could be interesting to see. But he's so far he's been amazing. He's been like I was watching the goals he scored the weekend. I was like, damn, this is what a number nine is. This is I know the Premier League we have we have the Norwegian Man City, but I feel with Lewandowski just takes it. I know Haaland is more he's brutal, he's devastating, but I feel alongside Lewandowski and Haaland right now, those are the guys where you say this is what it is. This is what it looks like a proper number nine that's on form, confident. He's finishing one touch, two touches, tap-ins, headers.
Yeah,
It's good to see for lovers of the game. It's very. I'm happy to see him back performing
but
brilliantly.
he needs to work on his penalty though. Now that Barca is getting a
Penalty.
lot of it, but he needs to work on his penalty. But Lewandowski's penalty ratio is absolutely undesirable for a striker of that quality. Our only
Oh, okay.
penalty of the season is Cup it anyway. So, but
Oh, so Barca have already one penalty this season.
well, that I can remember. Yeah,
Okay, so then I'm sure it's more than one then. Okay,
I'm serious. That I can remember. I think it's with one.
okay.
And it's Cup it.
So
So moving on, I think we've covered what we have for Europe, but there's some hot topics that I wanted to touch on before we draw the curtain for this edition, and that is the retirement of Mr. Infinite, the one and only Andres Iniesta is drawing a curtain to his career, and it's just an opportunity for us on the football exponential shows to send our love and just have a quick recap to some of the fantastic memories it's brought to us as football fans. Some of them not so fantastic, depending on the side that you're watching from. Um, and it's just an opportunity to say another shout out to Don Andres Iniesta. So, what do you have to say about such a phenomenal player dropping the boots?
well, my introduction to Iniesta wasn't the best. Like, because when he started getting because this is after the Spanish Euro win when he gets like his club performance starts getting more noticed is when Guardiola comes in, he assembles the midfield three, Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets. But with my love for Chelsea and his performance against Chelsea on that fateful night at Stamford Bridge, where his his
Um,
his late his late equalizer sent a lot of Chelsea fans into deep despair and depression for quite a while because that was a heartbreaking goal to concede and it was a well structured from us on the edge of the box for a player that didn't always fancy shooting a lot. And it's just funny,
the funny
yeah.
thing you mentioned heartbreak, true story. So a friend of mine mentioned that a friend of his dad actually passed on from that heartbreak. No, absolutely. I'm not making this up. So he mentioned that the ball literally went through the man's hand, and that was the last time.
So
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 I hope we don't have more Chelsea fans that have that kind of experience. And if we
no,
do, I'm apologizing on Don Andres' behalf. But please go on.
yeah, because I feel like from the outside looking at that's because I know we all know he was successful already with well, he had won the Champions League before and won the he was successful with the national team in Spain. But I feel the overall dominance of that Barcelona at that time and with Pep going on to become the coach he is now. I feel that specific moment, that's the moment that sets all this emotion for Barca's dominance, Guardiola's dominance in Europe, and which also leads on to the World Cup win, where that goal at that point in time it sets all this. It sets that's the table set of all these events that unfolded after that moment. Where had that goal not gone in at that time, I feel Chelsea would have won. Chelsea would have kept Barca out confidently and ultimately win the game, gone to the final. Then history goes down another path. But for me, Iniesta is one. I feel for me, he's football, like you said, Mr. Infinity. You said, or
Yeah.
yeah, he's a timeless performer. He was always he had you know what? I'll let you talk about Iniesta because he's your guy. Let me look. This is your shining moment.
No, now the thing is this, right? Iniesta is one of those players that when you think of it, you would have seen different variations of players that would, could, and should have been like him, but they were eventually not like him. Iniesta's control of the ball is impeccable, and his movement on tight spaces is a
So
delight to watch. His ability to play multiple positions, CAM, left wing, behind the striker, central mid,
first line
first line.
sometimes.
He was just that
Yeah,
guy that allows you to attack in multiple ways, and he would give you. I never saw a bad Iniesta's game. I don't remember ever seeing a game and I'm like, Iniesta was poor today.
yeah.
I, I,
It
I
was.
never
Yeah,
I never saw that, to be very honest. Right? He's and he's very calm on the ball. He's just more like those very until all of a sudden his facial structure changed, but he had that baby face all around him
yeah,
while he
yeah.
operates, and it was just like, oh, what's going on with this guy? And he's just the drift, the in and out. It was absolutely, absolutely beautiful. And on top of that, was very successful as well. If you go on the other side and decide to look at Iniesta's stats, um, today there's a lot of stat mongers in football. It's not really the most telling story there. His assist, his goal ratio, all of that might not be the. If you judge Iniesta's brilliance by that, you will completely lose your mind. But if you watch
Yeah.
Iniesta, he was everything you want from a midfielder. His controls, his detection of the game, his interpretation of the game. And again, he was a heavy presser of the ball.
Yeah,
Iniesta
yeah,
would,
yeah.
if Iniesta doesn't have the ball, he's on you. He's chasing,
He
he's
always hunts
chasing.
for the ball.
So and then when he gets the ball, you just know that he's not losing it. So it's everything
No,
fantastic, and it's not a player that some people would argue he was just successful in the club. Football was just very present in national team football. He was present as long as there's a football game to play. Iniesta was there, and that's beautiful.
because I also,
That's so
'cause I also feel
beautiful.
like he was not just with Barcelona. I feel he was the. And I know at that time, Spanish national team had a lot of fantastic footballers: David Villas, Xavi, Busquets, Alonso's, the centre backs Ramos and Puyol. But I feel Iniesta was the one that, if you were to say who's the one player from this team or this generation of players that would retire as an immortal player in terms of his football reputation, his performances, and his legacy in the game, I would say it had to be Iniesta, where he's a timeless football player where regardless of generations or times back then he could play in any era. He could do just about anything on the pitch. Like I said, like he was a player that never really took a lot of shots from outside the box, but one of the few times he took one, he scored a fantastic goal that took Barcelona to the Champions League final. And also, let's not forget his World Cup performances and his winning goal in the
Yep.
World Cup final. A lot of people always seem to, but I guess when you're that successful and win so much in a packed in a trophy laden career, a lot of people tend to forget the little details. But he's also one of the very few players to score in the Champions League. And so in a World Cup final as well. As long as and I know there's always this need to compare him to another French great, Zizou, but I feel
Yeah.
it's Iniesta is one. I know where I stand. I know where I stand with that in that discussion. But I feel with Iniesta is it was a joy to watch him play football for a team that I hated so much, Barcelona. But it was always a joy to watch Iniesta, Messi, and Iniesta, Messi link up, and Dani Alves has always coming in as well, adding to that trio. But he
Yeah.
was like you said, like there's no words. It's one of those players I feel we'll tell our children about it. Like, oh, you don't know Iniesta? Okay, sit down. Here's the tape. YouTube, you put YouTube com, you see the overall greatness where touch, passing, dribbling, understanding of the awareness of his teammates around him, where it's just I feel it's a player words can't describe. You had to have seen him week in, week out. And I feel a lot of Barcelona fans who were always locked in, week out to see that marvelous player. Well, I'm sure you are very grateful to him. But also understand, also it's also important to add, like, one of the best footballing performances from a team in Europe. But I feel the Champions League final, Barcelona against
United,
Manchester United at Wembley, the
the
one
2011 one.
yeah, where Barcelona won 3-1.
3-1. Oh, it was so
That,
delightful. Oh,
that's I feel that is. I know there are a lot of outstanding performances a lot of people will go to, but for me, where you say, okay, this is but those like, cause this is why we watch the game for the big games, the big players to step up on the big moments. That's where you look, okay, this is a player that was always that was always performing to such a high level. And his footballing career was a joy to watch, and I'm glad I saw a glimpse of his greatness.
yeah. I absolutely agree with you. And despite it always gonna be a sweet bitter feeling to watch Iniesta hang those boots, um, but I feel like he left us something to just hang on to. Might not be quite it yet, time will tell. But I feel like when I think of Iniesta, and I look at Pedri, it's just like, you know what, there is hope for football. There is hope for that kind of talent. There's hope
Okay.
for that kind of gliding control and all of that. A lot of non-Barcelona fans would argue, but I've seen this happen again. It took some people a decade to come around and understand the greatness of Lionel Messi. Some people still argue around the phenomenal talent that we saw in Xavier Hernandez. So I understand some people it takes a while to come around, but Pedri, in my opinion, is the next best thing to an Iniesta prototype that we may see in football. But to wrap that up, we need to move on. Another retirement story is Antoine Griezmann hanging his boot for international football as well. Hopefully, uh, it doesn't strip more clothes off Mbappe, and hopefully gives him another tool to another opportunity to step up there and put on the crown that he has always been primed to carry on. But yeah, another retirement chapter to Antoine Griezmann. Now for
Mm.
the last buzzing topic before we call it a wrap today. Interesting conversation. Mr. Frank, can you tell me who you would start, bench, or drop? Saka, Palmer, Lamine Yamal.
Start, bench, or drop?
Yeah,
Yo, start, bench, or drop?
yeah,
Saka, Palmer,
Saka,
or Yamal?
Palmer, Yamal.
You know,
You just need to go for it. Go. So I feel
no,
like
no,
it's one of
no.
those.
No, 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 no,
It's
because like, because we always see in games where Javi, Iniesta, and this person starts one drop. Sometimes some
mhm.
are easier than others, but I feel this might probably be right now. This might be the toughest one to pick,
Yeah.
and I'm trying not to be biased because it's easy to say, okay, I'll start power ball. If I have to start one, yo, yo, start one. I'll start Saka.
Okay.
I'll bench Palmer,
Yeah.
and I'll drop Yamal.
Mm. Okay. So provide
And
your justification.
my job is just, I think it's just simple. So Saka has been one of the most consistent players in the Premier League, not just in Premier League, but also in Europe for the last 2 to 3 years, where we've seen him. I feel Saka is one player that has had so many hurdles to jump over in terms of getting his or getting appreciation from the footballing community, where it's always this debate. Oh, is Saka better than this person? Is Saka better than Bowen? Is Saka better than Doku? Is Saka better than this player? This player, he's not world class. He's not world class because he doesn't play in the Champions League. He's not world class because his team hasn't won stuff. So I feel all those caveats should also I put all those caveats out the window and I see his performances in terms of overall goals, assists, defensive actions, dribbling, carrying the team, putting the team on his back, leading the team as a leader in that team. He's Arsenal's best player, in my opinion. He's Mr. Dependable, where he's a player that always goals or assists. He's putting those performances out consistently, regardless of football, against the best team. We saw last season against Bayern Munich. The best teams, Man City's, Liverpool's. He's always there. He's always the first one on the front line, leading Arsenal to great things. And for as a I'm not a neutral because obviously I hate Arsenal, but I can accept the fact that Saka for me has been for me fantastic in the Premier League. He's top four, top five best players in the Premier League right now. So Saka goes there, and the second one I'm benching Palmer because I just can't I can't a player that has put out this amount of goals and assists. You can always say, okay, he's new to his he's coming off his first season as a senior football player consistently in the Chelsea team. That there was a lot of turbulence in Chelsea's team, but he was the one player that stood heads and shoulders above everyone else, performing consistently, leading the team in terms of creating, scoring, assisting in equal measure. Also working hard for the team in terms of his pressing, off the ball work as well, and leading the team to some. I feel he's a shining light in this new Chelsea ownership, where you look at it. Okay, this is a player you got for so and so from Man City, and he's come to Chelsea, and he's looking like one of the best players to have played for Chelsea in a long time, up there with Hazard and the rest.
Mhm.
But I feel I have to put on the bench because Saka has done it for more years. He's done it in a team that's challenging for trophies, challenging for honors. He's doing it consistently. But the reason why I'm going with Palmer over Yamal is a player that has had close to over 50 goals and assists contributions in the last year alone. It's a player that you just can't. I can't do without that player. I have to get that player in. And also my Chelsea bias as well plays a part in it. So I will admit that. And it's not knock on Yamal because I feel Yamal is Yamal. He's a fantastic player. A lot of people will classify him as a world class player, and that's fine. He's executing at a level that we've not seen, regardless of age, but just as an attacking player, where you see the package, the ball striking, the shooting, the creativity, left foot, right foot, the dribbling, the understanding of, and I feel the one thing I like about Yamal so far is he'll be any striker would love to play with a player like Yamal, or even any wing or any attacking player to say, because he always knows the right pass to service his teammates at the right time, be it at the far across to the back post for tapping for Rafinha or Ferran Torres, or a looping cross for Lewandowski to head, or just a simple back heel for Lewandowski to latch on the ball and get a shot off. He knows. I feel, and this is where you always get the sense with players that are executing at the high level is that decision making is always consistent. And I feel Yamal has one of the most consistent decision making in the final third in Europe right now. So unfortunately, I'll have to go with Saka, Palmer, but Yamal unfortunately drops out. But I'll pass it on to you now. Start bench or drop Saka, Palmer, and Yamal.
And the thing is, I understand your perspective to longevity, but putting Saka there is of the three players, has been the one to do it the most, right?
Yeah.
But when I look at the ceiling and the future potentials there, that is where my decision sways. Now, Yamal has come in there and he has done it like no other person. He has literally put another spring to the ever questionable Spanish national team in recent years. He went there putting that spring there. took them over the line with Euros, and was very integral in all of their crucial games. And then you look at the Barcelona, and this is the reason why I feel like it's interesting. And the reason why I want to put Yamal above the other two is that playing for Barca and Real Madrid is a whole new level of pressure. It
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter
true.
what you have done before. Like, for example, no, nothing against Eden Hazard. He was a big fish in a very interesting point when he was in Chelsea. He was everything to them. He was everything.
It was
It
quite a nice
was,
one.
yeah, it is, and nothing against him, right? But it was a different Eden Hazard we saw in Real Madrid for a lot of reasons that might not be related to Chelsea, but that was the situation, right? And then, even as we speak right now, Mbappe will tell you his story of going from PSG to Real Madrid and seeing a whole new level of pressure. Gareth Bale experienced the same thing from Tottenham to Real Madrid. It's a different level of pressure. And then we also look at other players that's come to Barcelona. Like, for example, it took Coutinho too many attempts and he still couldn't do whatever he was doing in Liverpool, in Barcelona, right? It
Dembele,
took Dembele, like his whole
Dembele,
career span in Real Madrid. Griezmann couldn't do
Griezmann.
it, had to leave in the
Yeah,
back. John Felix couldn't make the same impact. These are
even going
players
back,
that, yeah,
even going back, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's Mr.
yeah, Mr. I
His
can
overall
absorb the
persona.
pressure every day. So
Exactly.
it's a different kind of pressure when you play for those
Yeah,
two clubs. And Lamar looked at the pressure, embraced it, tuned to it, and every time I watch him, it feels like he did better the last time I watched him. That is what is scary. Like, you see someone come off an amazing Euro tournament, and you're like, okay, you know what, he's peaked, and then you look at the start of the season, he even doubled on his peak, and then you look at the play, you look at the progressive. Like, he went from the guy who Lewandowski was scolding on the pitch to the guy who was telling Lewandowski, you should have been there. You should have finished that pass. He went from that,
taking take taking more responsibility, more
taking more
leadership.
responsibility, more
Yeah.
leadership. And I don't want to be having Lamar's conversation and be saying he's just 17. I think we're over that. Like that phrase, we've heard it once so many times. I'm talking about Lamar as a professional footballer. That's what he is right now. And this season, he's as good as you get. I wouldn't be surprised if this season Lamar is in Ballon d'Or conversation. I would not. He
So
wouldn't have not earned it. So to my
so
point, if
so is it because say this year's Vinicius' title. So the
mhm.
next one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
Okay.
this. No,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah,
For the season that kicked off in 2024, that's going to run on to 2025.
yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
like going by what is going on now. I wouldn't be,
Like
you know,
so far, there's no like
there's
it's all
yeah.
it's only yeah. It won't be it's not that crazy of an idea. But so you're starting Yamal,
I'm starting Yama absolutely,
okay?
and I am benching Cole Palmer, and I will
Okay,
let Saka walk away painfully. And the reason why I'm benching Cole Palmer is this, right? Besides the outburst of Luis Suarez in Liverpool, I haven't seen a player that can influence the game single-handedly like Cole Palmer.
yeah,
And I'm saying that with full consciousness of what Mo Salah did for Liverpool, with full gratitude to what Kevin De Bruyne had done for Man City, with full knowledge of what Sadio Mane at his prime did for Liverpool, with total understanding of the difficulty of what Kane did for Tottenham over and over again. I'm saying this in full consideration to all of these brilliant players. I'm saying I personally haven't I can confidently recall a player that can single-handedly change the dynamics of a game, regardless of how his teammates are playing, and that is Cole
yeah.
Palmer. His touch,
Yeah.
his
It's
control,
been
his ability to set his other teammates up, his lack of he doesn't he plays football like he's not interested in scoring, but he will not miss a chance. You see what I'm
hmm
saying? His People underestimate his conversion rate from the sports. That is
yes,
even that's
it's
something
yes,
that's something
taking
that
ten penalty taking
the
10
penalties
penalties
were
for 10.
Yeah, so like earlier on the show I mentioned that I needed Lewandowski to be better with scoring, but it's
Yeah.
a skill, it's an art, right? And and Kupama has done that. And guess what? He's gonna get better on free kicks, and he's gonna get on more free kicks, and that's just to tell you the ceiling for that player. And
It's because like cause just touching on Kopama now because it's I feel the next step for Kopama is okay, you've got this player but you need to get the pieces around him to get him
yeah,
to that level where he's not just scoring but he's also create consist like say for example now if Chelsea had a striker like a Lewandowski or Haaland for example, he gets more assists because those are better strikers that finish
exactly.
that have better movement and get more chances and obviously equal gives Kopama more assists. But I think his overall because like when I always have the discussion with Kopama and I know I said I'll bench him because of his overall contribution, but I feel the best attribute or the best comment I can give Kopama is the fact that sometimes he's a player that regard the goals and assists aside, he's still a fantastic player. His ability to see the whole picture in his head and
Hmm.
execute it intelligently, find the right pass, right time, find his teammates consistently. Most times that the finishing on that end is not always the best, but he's still providing, and at the same time he creates and scores in equal measure. Because you always see that some players that there's always you score 20 goals, you probably get like 5, 10 assists. The only player in the Premier League I've seen that's been at that level is probably been Arsenal's Thierry Henry, where
Hmm.
he scores 20 something goals, but also has 20 something assists as well. And
Hmm.
I won't be surprised if this season, if he has a good year this year, he should be pushing close to that target where you try and get 20-20 on goals and assists. But with Chelsea, but with Kopama and Chelsea, I feel like it's one of those. It shows if you but like there are a lot of talented young players around in different academies in England right now. Some of them they've shown the talent, but some of them just need that platform and that trust. Like a Jenny Sancho who leaves Man City to go to Dortmund,
Hmm.
or Kopama who chooses to leave Man City because he could have taken the Phil Foden route and stayed at Man City, been on the bench, seen substandard players in his opinion come in for big ones, likes of Grealish, Doku and whatnot. And just but he backed himself to go to a club like Chelsea and through the whole situation they come out as a star in that team. Not just a star in Chelsea, but a star in Premier League and in European football as well. And you will see his performances in the Euros tournament with England, where he didn't start the game, but he comes off the bench a few times. And it's in the semi-final and the final, where he comes up, creates the winning goal for England in the semi-final against the Netherlands for Watkins. And he comes off the bench again in the final and gets a fantastic equalizing goal for England on a game which is ultimately lost to Yamal Spain. But you see him, he plays the game with no fear. He plays it with so much confidence and swagger that you just have to appreciate and applaud what he's doing so far. So I'm quite happy with him right now. So unfortunately, you have to let Saka walk away.
Yeah, absolutely. It's painful. It's painful because
Okay,
there's a fellow,
I
and
feel I
it's a
feel
close call. Like literally, whatever choice anybody makes out of it is never going to be a wrong choice. Like even letting Saka go doesn't mean that it's not as good as the other
yeah,
two.
it's
It's just that right now I feel of the three players, Saka is the most predictable. You kind of nobody's going to do. You're going to know how he's going to go about it. Um, if Saka was playing, the way I look at it, if Saka was playing against the Inter Milan of the old, the the Atletico Madrid of the old, I think of the
yeah.
three players is the one that they would get the best chance to shut out. But these other two are too dynamic,
But
too fluid, too difficult.
I would quite disagree because I feel I feel Saka has a lot of arrows in his bow where because like we see him now like Saka in the Premier League has most times if he gets the ball he's coming up against 2 3 defenders in front of him from both sides from the left in front of him he can't go on the outside but he always like the assist he gave for Arsenal's second goal on the weekend where he's man marked he just makes a bit of separation makes that space for himself opens up his body then fires it into the back post but but the cross is so precise where all you just need is a tap. It's a
Mm-hmm.
tapping at the back post for Martinelli to get the second goal. And I feel in those situations where playing against a team that sits very deep, tries to control the situations, try to control that Arsenal's Saka and limit his overall impact, he still has that ability to either coming off the wing, get a shot off, or coming off the wing and create an assist for a teammate, or make interchange, or make get a lay pass for a teammate and receive it and try and get something up. But also, I feel with Saka is like I know I said with Palmer. Palmer does it. With Chelsea need to get better players to help Palmer achieve what Chelsea need to achieve. But
Mm-hmm.
also feel with Saka, the same can be said about Saka and his Arsenal teammates, where he's been there for like he's been leading the team for the last 3 4 years. But in terms of the people around him, like Yamal is playing with Lewandowski, that's a fantastic striker. Yamal is playing with Daniel Olmo, playing with Rafinha, Pedri, these are all fantastic players. But I feel though Arsenal they've challenged for the title in the last few years, I still feel Saka could benefit a lot with playing with better players at Arsenal. Like if
So,
Arsenal, because
if you think about soccer in England as well, he's got fantastic player. I mean, top of strikers, you've got Hurricane, top of the other side of land, you've got
well,
Wisdom
top
there.
striker.
Yeah, so, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it
Uh,
is. Yeah.
it is what it is. So at this point, I think we've covered most of the interesting, juicy conversation, but do not forget to go in there, subscribe, hit the like button, put your comment, let us know what you think, if you really
Yeah,
would go
and
for Frank's
and
option or my option, or if you go for a different route,
and
to be
us
honest with
and Arsenal fans, can you can you put your what's your social what's your name on socials so
No,
they can
no, I wouldn't do that. I still plan to keep my account very healthy. Arsenal fans
so
don't forgive you for this kind of
Arsenal
thing.
fans, you know where to go to get to get our good friend on that choice. So
Yes,
they won't
please.
be happy with that.
I do, I
No,
do.
boys, but it's not good fun. That was a a tough one to pick on. But it's been a good chat. It's nice catching up. So to our listeners and followers, kindly leave your opinions on the page. Any questions or any topics you'd like us to cover, just get that to us and we will get to it in due time. Again, thank you for joining me, Kingsley. See you next time and bye.
Bye, team. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.